Members of a global drugs ring have just £280,000 to seize out of a staggering £4 million profit. The latest proceeds of crime hearing saw prosecution and defence lawyers agree that Stephen Beazley and Dave Wright had only been found with a fraction of the cash they made from their drugs empire. Dad of four, Beazley was ordered to pay £191,564 to the public purse from a personal profit of over £1 million. Financial investigations found he made £1,015,072.21 from plying his cocaine trade on Teesside in 2015 and 2016. Wright has been found to have £88,438 to his name out of a profit of over £2 million. Wright made £2,058,191.57 from his role in the drugs gang involving well-known security boss firm John Winky Watson. Both Beazley and Wright have been ordered to pay the amount before the end of February or face an 18-month prison sentence. Earlier this year, prosecutors agreed that Watson has just £244 in cash to his name. He repaid a few £100 back to the state after making a profit of £972,110.37. A fourth gang member, Hardman, Craig Costello, has yet to hear his financial fate, as a confiscation sum has yet to be agreed. Costello's former home on Chesterfield Drive, Martin, in Middlesbrough, has now been sold. The four were part of a global multi-million-pound drugs gang who chartered helicopters to deliver cocaine from Antwerp into the UK. They were working on the Teesside arm of drugs kingpin John Moorby's international operation, who was in turn working beneath Merseyside gangster Lance Kennedy. The helicopters dropped below flight radar systems to deliver huge packages of drugs into the gardens of rented holiday cottages in the south east of England, which were chosen because they lie under flight paths. The drugs were then ferried up to Merseyside, where they were stored and driven over the Pennines to Teesside in smaller amounts. One of the holiday cottages hired by the drugs gang notoriously belonged to actress Miriam Margolyes, who later joked about it on the Graham Norton show, telling the audience, "One day I got a call from the police and they said, 'You are the owner of the gun emplacement cottage?' And I said yes. They said, 'Are you aware that it is being used as a drop for criminals to get rid of their drugs?' She said, 'Well, of course I didn't know. What do you mean?' And they said, 'Well, people have rented it. They were a gang from Liverpool, I think, and they took my house and they dropped the drugs in the bay. There was a helicopter that came on the roof. It's a flat roof, and they had cocaine.' Miss Margolyes added, 'Well, of course I was horrified because I didn't know. I mean, I don't have anything to do with the people that rent it. I just take the money. What was upsetting to me was when it was reported, of course, in the Daily Mail, all of the people online said, 'Oh, she must be in it. She's part of the gang.' Well, they were calling me Miriam Escobar." Cleveland Police's Operation Spoonbill saw Watson, Beazley, Wright and Costello put under covert surveillance throughout 2015 and 2016. The evidence gathered brought down Kennedy, who had managed to run the operation after moving to Barcelona. Kennedy's helicopter scheme oversaw 17.5 million of drugs imported to Britain. He is now serving a sentence of 18 years and 4 months. Moorby was caught with a huge haul of cocaine at his home in Ingleby Barwick in 2014. Whilst awaiting trial, he fled to Thailand. He continued to run the Teesside drugs empire from Southeast Asia using encrypted devices to manage the operation. Cash was continuously sent to Moorby, who was found to have made over £4 million profit. Moorby, dubbed Mr. Big, was eventually captured after police received a tip-off about his son Brandon visiting him. Moorby, 54, fled by speedboat to the island of Kormutsum in 2019, but he was caught and surrounded by Interpol and Thai police, who he says held the machine guns to his head. He is now serving a 29-year sentence in Franklin Prison. The proceeds of crime order found that Moorby had just £349 to his name out of a $4.5 million from his drugs trade. Working under Kennedy and Moorby, where the Teesside 4, Wright, 46, of Steel Crescent in South Bank, broke away from Watson, Beazley and Costello and admitted his guilt in the conspiracy. The devoutly religious dad served the final months of his sentence in Kirkleverton Prison in Yarm. Watson and Beazley stood trial. Costello fled the country to work on the oil rigs in the Middle East. Watson, 44, claimed he was targeted by the police, who he says were out to get him after he set up his own security service, where the police were seen as failing to act on burglaries and antisocial behaviour. Residents paid £13 a year for Watson's security men to patrol the streets. Watson's defence team then piled the blame on Wright, telling the court that the drugs operation started and ended with Mr. Wright. Watson has now served his 6-year prison term. Beazley's barrister, Neil Fitzgibbon, said he was just a Del Boy wheeler-dealer character who sold aftershave, baccy and Viagra from his Eston home. Beazley maintained that he supplemented his income as a real contractor by selling online, that he had never sold drugs. Covert police recorded footage of J. Flip-Flop Robinson leaving Beazley's Barmouth Road home in 2015, and the prosecution ridiculed Beazley's claim that a man from Liverpool would travel to Teesside to buy some knockoff aftershave. Robinson was jailed for 14 years in 2014 for his part in bringing drugs over from the Wirral to Teesside. Beazley, 43, is now back with his family, having served his 7-year sentence. Watson of Moorgate in Eston now works at Watfit. His wife is the registered owner of the new company, which provides fitness classes and personal training. Costello, 42, formerly of Chesterfield Drive in Martin, was arrested abroad. The dad of 4 is serving his 9-year and 7-month sentence in HMP Buckley Hall in Rochdale, a prison designated for inmates serving more than 4 years. He will be transferred back to a prison close to Teesside when he has served his 6 months left of his sentence to serve. The 4 men were all entitled to legal aid as top London barristers arrived on Teesside to defend the 3 that stood trial. They racked up £597,000 in bill legal costs that the taxpayers had footed. Please like this video, please comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.